If you remember in the last video, I said that we had a triangle here and we were going to deal with it later. I did notice that there's a triangle here, so this should be a really easy fix. All we have to do is just split it all the way down to here. Select that and dissolve that edge. Then what we can do is we can move that point around. That's going to make that smooth out a lot nicer, as you can see here. So now that we fixed that, I did notice that each section of the arm right here could use more geometry. So we're going to talk about another tool that we haven't used yet, which is the loop split or loop cut. You'll notice that when I hover over here, if I click, it'll just split it. If I click and drag, I can move it up and I can move it down. This would come in handy if I wanted a sharper crease. I could move this close to the edge like that. Now we don't want that. We want it split pretty much right in the middle. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Now when we smooth things out, the polygons are a lot more even. Things look nicer. You just have to be careful when you're doing a loop cut because it will follow the topology and the flow. And if the flow goes in different directions, it's gonna travel in different directions. So just keep that in mind. We really don't have much of an elbow here. The reason for that, you'll notice it looks like there's geometry there, but that's just our subdivision modifier. If we turn that off, you're going to see there isn't any geometry there. We do have a triangle back here though. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to knife cut this right down the middle. I'm going to bring it up about that far for right now. We are going to have to deal with this, but we'll deal with that when we get to the hand. So just like we've been doing this whole time, what we want to do is we want to start shaping all this stuff, all the new geometry that we've added. So you can see just how flat and caved in this is right here. Let's pull this out. Pretty flat down here too. So at some point we have a couple options. Since we split this, one of the things we can do is we can kind of even all these out by pulling these down and around a little bit. I definitely don't like how that goes in. So we're going to have to pull this out. So I think what we're going to do is let's see. I'm going to split across there and I'm going to grab this point and I'm going to grab this point, merge vertices at center. Now we may end up changing this up a little bit. Let's see. Now you notice we have this large surface area and it's flat, and then we have a triangle here. So we can do the same thing that we've been doing. We can come through and we can split this all the way around to the back. And then again, we're going to go back in and we're going to shape this, because you can see it's just really flat. I can tell that at some point I'm going to redirect the flow of this to go down the arm. I know if you take a look here on the hand, we're going to have to do some more splits here, which means they're going to need to travel up the arm. And then we can deal with some of these areas like this. We can fix this in here. We're going to have quite a few options. Because one of the things that we can do for instance, right here, we can come down and we can split that. We can also come in and split here to here. Now, if we're going to do a split down this way, we're going to need to pull some of this stuff around. You may wonder why I keep jumping back into sculpting mode to do that. For me, it's just a lot easier. If the move tool works for you, use it. But remember, at some point we are going to be sculpting this, so you really do want to get used to the sculpting tools. So essentially right now what we're doing is we're pulling this geometry down so that we can make room for the new geometry that we're going to create. Let's go back into here. Let us dissolve that edge. Let's grab our knife tool. Let's dissolve that edge. So now we have quads again. I'm not sure if we're going to end up doing a split here later. So for right now, I'm just going to kind of pull the geometry around and shape it just in case we don't. If we do, it's not a big deal. That should give us enough geometry around the elbow when we finally get there to sculpt in whatever details we want to add. That's looking pretty good. Also remember what I was telling you about not to mess with the center line. If you need to move a point, make sure that you're not moving it on the x-axis. So for instance here, if I wanted to move this point or this one, I can use both the Z and the Y, no problem. It won't mess anything up. But if you move on the X, you're going to separate it for the mirror. At some point we probably will do that. We'll mess with the symmetry and stuff a little bit, but for right now we want to make sure we don't disturb this. So all I'm really trying to do here is even stuff out a little bit. Check our seam, make sure everything's okay. Flow looks nice. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Okay, now we should be able to tackle the hand. Thanks for watching.